Okay, and we're back. I'm sorry this is so abrupt, but I really didn't build the lead-in times into the videos while I was recording this all in one go. Um, Anyways, this is Sky Sanctuary Act 2. Sky Sanctuary is actually one of my favorite levels in this game. I have a friend who believes that Sky Sanctuary is evil and should never be played, but that has more to do with Sky Sanctuary Act 1 than with Act 2, I believe. Um, I actually believe it's a very fun level, if done correctly. Um, if you have trouble staying on ledges, you might not like it. I actually like the threat of constant danger combined with absolutely beautiful looking architecture. And you've got all these classic looking buildings floating in the air, and the fountain, the hanging lit plants, oh. The background, the foreground, everything. This entire level is one huge episode of scenery porn on Sega's part, and they knew that certain fans like me would just eat this up. I mean, you're not even sure while you're playing if you're seeing things that are going to be in your act or if you're seeing things that are from Act 1. Um, it's really hard to tell if Act 1 and Act 2 even use any of the same background elements because they just look so much alike. And you know, the same friend that has a problem with Sky Sanctuary says it punishes you for going fast. I think I'm going pretty fast. And at this point, yes, I am going too fast, but my controller's screwed up. What else can I say at this point? My controller screwed up and would not let me homing attack that other zip line. And you can clearly see that I'm going for it. You can clearly see that I do eventually end up homing attacking. Yeah, what can I say? I screwed up. And that's one thing that you might see a lot of later on as the levels get harder. I try to play as well as I can. I'm not doing a blind playthrough. You know, I will screw up. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. The people that make perfect Let's Play videos, they edit it heavily. They reset the level, they retry, they re-record. You know, I'm not doing the voices live. I'm doing the voices after the fact. But you know, I'll admit, I do the playthroughs, warts and all. You'll see everything that happens. Unless I encounter a glitch so bad, or I just screw up so bad, that I have no choice but to start the level over again. Now, and that's just because I know I'm not perfect. I don't want to pretend that I'm perfect. Look, by God, this level is almost perfect. Anyways, that's Act 2. Next, coming up is Act 1. And again, I do this just because I find the friend interactions with classic Sonic to be funnier than those with modern Sonic. That's a personal opinion. You may not share it. Who cares? My playthrough. I make the rules. And after Sky Sanctuary Act 1, we will be doing 2 challenges and then a mini-boss fight against Metal Sonic from Sonic CD. And this is where I think I'm going to end up shocking, you know, a certain person that may or may not end up actually seeing this, with how fast you actually can go while maintaining very decent control, shall we say, with Sky Sanctuary and Classic Sonic. Because I like to think that I'm maintaining a decent speed throughout this video. Yeah, I'm going to mess up. Everyone messes up. No big deal. But you recover, you move on, and you kick the level's ass. You know, and I do have to agree, there are some points where Classic Sonic feels a little bit slippery on the platforming end. But, you know, he's a character made for speed, not all about control. But you can have very good control as long as you know what you're doing. And if you have enough speed, sometimes you just don't need more control. I mean, right there, I got to that platform with the perfect timing to hit that red spring, and then button doesn't respond, I fall off the edge. It was a jump button, same button as the homing attack earlier. But at the same time, recover, and you keep going through the level quickly. And not much more to be said about that. You can do this level very quickly. You can do this level very well while still doing it quickly. You just have to be intelligent about what you do. I mean, combine speed with, thought. Think ahead. And that doesn't mean you gotta play the level 6 million times to learn all the traps ahead of time, like certain other Sonic games that forced you to do that. This is the only dick move in the game, I think, on Sega's part. You have to play through Act 1 3 times to get those 3 red rings at the end. More than 3 times if you don't go the different path at the end each time. I think that's really the only dick move that Sega has done in this game. That was the only bad decision.
Thanks, Sonic. You did a good job back there. Hey, did you gain weight? Sonic!
No matter how many times I see it, that cutscene always manages to make me laugh. And here we go. We're going to be doing the Sky Sanctuary Act 1 Doppelganger run, which is basically the same thing you just saw me do. Except I take a, I think, slightly different route. Overall, I make a couple mistakes. I don't die, but I make a couple mistakes. And I freely admit that. Everyone makes them. Sega made a huge one, but we don't like to talk about Sega's mistakes, do we? We like to ridicule them for it, we just don't like to admit that we've played them. What can I say? I just went through this level. Doppelganger races, I find them to be really one of the more fun, but at the same time one of the weakest of the challenges. I find them fun because, well, you're just playing the level over again, except you're getting something for it, and I guess I call them weak because it's really easy to beat the Doppelganger. I mean, I don't think there's a single level in the game where I consider the Doppelganger to be a viable challenge. And that's that. I really don't. I mean, the AI is, I don't want to say it's horrendous, but it cuts you way too much slack. And it's not like it's a conscious thing that the AI does. It's not that kind of an artificial intelligence. It's just Sega, I don't think they programmed the Doppelganger AI aggressively enough. It waits, it has pauses. It takes it a little too slow. I mean, it's easy in some levels to have the Doppelganger be almost 2 full progress areas behind you when you finish the map. Like right now, it's about 3/4 of one behind me, 9/10 of one behind me, and I'm going to finish the map well before it gets to the same progress area. And that's what I mean. They're supposed to be an opponent. They're not a threat at all. And yeah, it feels cheap to me that you only have to do one challenge and you can do a Doppelganger on however many you choose. Anyways, the next challenge that I do is actually going to be the Water Shield challenge for Chemical Plant Zone. And the reason for this is twofold. Number one, I like that challenge. It's actually fun. Number two, the water shield is actually quite useful, in my opinion. There are others that don't share this opinion. Oh well. I've actually had it come in handy in Crisis City. Doing an actual Act 1 playthrough of Crisis City, the water shield can be useful. Especially if you haven't gotten the Crisis City Challenge Flame Shield yet. And you're actually going to see me use the water shield in Crisis City in this Let's Play. Sorry. The challenge is pretty straightforward. You use the power granted to you by the item boxes to progress through, and to do the bounces, it's really easy. You just hit A again after jumping. The exact same way you did the bounce in Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles. And there are all three elemental shields in this game. They are earned through their own challenges. The fire shield still does the forward dash, basically at the same speed that the spin dash happens, and the lightning shield still does its double jump and pulls in rings. Fire shield makes you invulnerable to flames, and is gained in a Crisis City challenge. The reason for that is Crisis City is this game's lava level. Now, about the notes and the bells, I zipped through what they do too fast. Little blue notes give you artwork after a challenge when you ring the bell. The big golden notes give you a new song to use in a level. And this is... I want to say it's a remake of Radical Highway. I'm probably wrong. I actually never played Sonic CD. But this is a remake of a boss fight, so-called, from Sonic CD. I've seen a playthrough of it. It looks just like a regular level, except you're racing against Metal Sonic rather than just playing through the level. This mini-boss fight is actually quite fun. It's the only mini-boss that you do as Classic Sonic, just like the Death Egg Robot is the only full boss that you do as Classic Sonic. And they're both in the Genesis era of the game. Obvious reasons. Sonic CD was a Genesis game on CD. There's not really a whole lot to talk about. It's just you avoid the boss attacks as well as you can. Try not to fall off the back of the highway. And as soon as the boss is done attacking, you hit him. That's about it. It's fun, but there really isn't much to say about it. And I misdodged that lamppost, which is going to cost me later. Somewhat. What's going to end up costing me later more is that I failed to dodge the hyper drill attack, the very tail end of it. What is there to say about this? There's not much else. I screw up here, and I end up not being able to attack him. And this video is going to be cutting out literally right after this stage ends, because, I just don't have enough time left. There's a Chaos Emerald earned from this stage. You're going to be seeing that, I believe, at the very beginning of the next video. And the next video will include a modern Sonic challenge, followed by the Death Egg Robo. So tune in again, and we'll see what we will see.